While she may have recently stepped onto the world stage, Kimberly Guilfoyle has been hustling for decades. From growing up in San Francisco to becoming an infamous icon of the Republican Party, Guilfoyle has ascended the ranks to claim her spot as a political heavy hitter. Here's a look at her rise to celebrity status. Guilfoyle was born in San Francisco in 1969. Her earliest days were spent in the Mission District of the city until her father moved the family to Westlake. And by all accounts, Guilfoyle's upbringing was happy and full of opportunities. She told SF-Gate, "I remember feeling safe and happy and like there was nothing in the world a boy could do that a little girl couldn't." One of the first barriers that Guilfoyle broke was trying out for a boys' soccer team in 2nd grade and making the cut. That moment set the tone for the rest of her life and proved to Guilfoyle herself that her gender would never limit her potential. She remembered, "Looking back on it, I think that was exactly the principles my parents tried to teach me. Everyone should have an equal chance to show their ability." While Guilfoyle was a California girl through and through, she also spent her summers across the pond in Ireland with her father's family. And while that might sound idyllic to outsiders, for Guilfoyle it was a chance to learn a lot about life. She told Irish Central, "Every summer from the age of 5, I lived in Ennis, where my Guilfoyle relatives had businesses on O'Connell Street, a gift shop called Dalcassian House, and Dalcassian Printers." Guilfoyle first started working at the shop when she was about 11 or 12, selling fine china and Waterford crystal. She noted that it provided her a sense of personal responsibility, as she learned to put in the work to earn her very own paycheck. While Guilfoyle was surrounded by a happy family, growing up she was especially attached to her mother, who was a huge inspiration in her life. She shared in an interview with Mediaite, "My mother was just everything to me. I loved her so much. I always wanted to be around her. I loved how I saw people react to her." Considering that her mother was an educator who taught students facing emotional challenges, Guilfoyle learned a lot about giving back at a young age. Sadly, tragedy struck the family when Guilfoyle was only 11 years old, when her mother was diagnosed with leukemia. She would never recover. Guilfoyle said, "I had to go through a lot to be able to heal, going through her illness.
I had to really rely on that valuable time that I had with my mom and the impressions that she left on me."
After her mother died, Guilfoyle was left with her father, as well as her younger brother, whom she helped raise despite being young herself. But even that was not without its merit. She said, "It made me a better mother, a better person." For Guilfoyle, high school was a formative period during which she discovered who she really was. Having attended Mercy High School in San Francisco, she wrote on Instagram, "This is where I learned so much and was empowered to be the born-free American woman that I am today." The Catholic school was also an all-girls institution, which taught Guilfoyle a powerful lesson in camaraderie. She added, "I always have cherished the power of that sisterhood. I love my time at Mercy and hope each of those young girls go on to change the world. I know that they can."
Mercy is sisterhood!
Mercy High has since shuttered its doors for good as of 2020. After Guilfoyle finished high school, she was off to college at UC Davis, but since tuition isn't cheap, the co-ed had to burn the candle at both ends in order to pay the bills. She worked 3 jobs while enrolled at the university, telling Cosmo, "I was working at the district attorney's office as an intern. I worked at the clothing store close time, and I was modeling and doing different jobs in and around San Francisco and Sacramento." It was while she was working retail that she was approached about the possibility of lingerie modeling, a potentially lucrative gig that could pay up to $300 per hour, according to SF-Gate. Guilfoyle went on to model for brands like Macy's and Victoria's Secret, but as she puts it, that era of her life was a means to an end, period.
To this day, I won't do anything that the next morning they told me you will regret.
Guilfoyle graduated from UC Davis with top honors and went on to enroll in the law program at the University of San Francisco. Once Guilfoyle had completed her education, she briefly became a teacher and then worked a stint at a civil law firm. But it was when she landed a position as a San Francisco prosecutor that she felt she'd truly arrived. She told SF-Gate, "I was ecstatic. I had achieved my dream. And there was a good reason that Guilfoyle had longed for that position, too." She explained to Mediaite, "I became a prosecutor because I got my greatest joy in working with victims of violent crimes. I understood that profound sense of loss, and I could relate to it, and I wanted to do anything to help them heal by seeking justice."
Being an advocate for another person is, I think, one of the greatest things you can do in life.
While Guilfoyle may be lighting it up as a conservative powerhouse today, she wasn't always the face of the GOP. In fact, she was once living life as the First Lady of San Francisco after she married the now Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, in 2001. He was elected mayor of the city 2 years later. She recalled in an interview with Metropolitan Magazine, "One of my fondest memories from that exciting time in my life was hosting Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla for one of their first official visits to the United States." Guilfoyle was active in her then-husband's career, and the LA Times reported she supported his decision to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples all the way back in 2004. She told the San Francisco Chronicle at the time, "I told him he was like Robert Kennedy. He will be remembered for his work in civil rights."
It's, I think, an extraordinarily momentous day in San Francisco.
For as happy as Guilfoyle and Newsom were for a time, the couple just wouldn't go the distance, and Guilfoyle decided it was time for a change. She explained to the Daily Signal, "I decided to move across the country, and at the time, I was the First Lady of San Francisco and going through a few challenges with marriage like many people do, sadly." Guilfoyle divorced Newsom in 2006, and part of the reason she uprooted her life was also because she'd received several offers to appear on TV after she won an especially high-profile case. She said, "I ultimately moved to New York and began a new life, and started working for Court TV. I accepted that offer. I had my own show." After that, she appeared on Good Morning America as a legal analyst, as well as on CNN, and for the Fox News show The Lineup. In 2006, Guilfoyle decided to give love a second shot, and she married furniture mogul Eric Valenci, according to the New York Times. The pair welcomed their son Ronan in October of that same year, but the romance was not meant to last, and Guilfoyle divorced her second husband 3 years later in 2009. Still, that hasn't prevented the former couple from being great co-parents to their son. Close friend Susan Shin told Metropolitan Magazine, "Kimberly is loyal, generous, and an amazing mom. Ronan is so sweet-natured, and he really looks up to his mother and father." Guilfoyle has taken to Instagram on several occasions to compliment her second ex-husband on this new chapter for their family. She also uses the platform to regularly post pictures of her son, whom she clearly adores. On one post, she wrote, "I'm thinking about how blessed I am and lucky that God gave me my greatest treasure, you, Ronan." In 2011, after Guilfoyle had joined the team at Fox News, she became a co-host on the popular panel show The Five. Named for the 5 personalities it features at any given moment, Guilfoyle was a huge fan of the program. She told the Daily Signal, "That's one of the things I love, is that no two shows are the same. We really try to mix it up, and we have incredible producers." That on-camera chemistry between the co-hosts was also legit, as Guilfoyle tells it. She said, "It's like sitting around the dinner table on Thanksgiving or something with your family. You never know what anybody is going to say about a particular issue, which I think makes it interesting for us as well, and it keeps it really fresh and vibrant." Despite the stellar situation, Guilfoyle abruptly left the show in 2018, according to the New York Times. Sources told the outlet at the time that she'd been accused of, quote, "inappropriate workplace behavior." Perhaps the third time's the charm when it comes to finding love for Guilfoyle. In May of 2018, Page Six broke the news that the pundit was dating one of Donald Trump's sons. A source told the outlet, "Don Jr. and Kimberly are seeing each other and are having a great time." But the pair got together at a time that wasn't without its own controversy, when the younger Trump was in the process of divorcing his longtime wife, Vanessa. The source added, "While he wants to respect the privacy of his family, he is getting divorced, and he enjoys Kimberly's company." Guilfoyle frequently posts snaps of the couple on Instagram, doing everything from enjoying the outdoors to sharing meals and attending sporting events. Guilfoyle pops up on Don Jr.'s feed from time to time as well, and by the looks of it, things are very serious between the pair.
Committed in our hearts forever for life, which is very sweet.
Dating Donald Jr. isn't Guilfoyle's only association with the First Family. In July 2018, she announced that she was going to work for a pro-Trump super PAC, tweeting, "I've decided to leave Fox News Channel and dedicate myself full-time to joining America First as vice chairwoman, campaigning across the country and firmly standing with President Trump."
Well, hello, Arizona!
The following year, Guilfoyle once again hit up social media for another important announcement. Taking to Twitter again, she wrote, "I am absolutely thrilled to announce that I'll be joining the Trump campaign as a senior advisor." Guilfoyle's work keeps her quite busy, traveling around the country and hosting events, as reported by Metropolitan Magazine. She says it's important to reach out to those who live outside urban areas, and it's something she's proud to do. In 2020, Guilfoyle appeared as one of the featured speakers at the Republican National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. There, both she and Donald Jr. took to the stage to warn people what could happen if their Democratic opponents win the election. Guilfoyle claimed, "Biden, Harris, and the rest of the socialists will fundamentally change this nation. They want open borders, closed schools, dangerous amnesty, and will selfishly send your jobs back to China while they get rich."
As a first-generation American, I know how dangerous their socialist agenda is.
Guilfoyle also cautioned her audience about additional perils, citing California as an example of the worst that can happen. She alleged, "It is a place of immense wealth, immeasurable innovation, and immaculate environment, and the Democrats turned it into a land of discarded heroin needles in parks, riots in streets, and blackouts in homes. Guilfoyle ended her speech by claiming that electing Trump will keep America safe and would protect the American dream.
Don't count on the Democrats.
Guilfoyle has certainly become a celebrity in her own right, thanks to all that she's accomplished in her life, and she's no stranger to criticism. She told Mediaite, "I've been in a lot of tough businesses. First Lady of San Francisco, working as a model, actress, TV host. You better have thick skin for sure, but you also need to laugh at yourself." Guilfoyle also doesn't mind negative press about her, as long as no one is attacking her personally, and she knows she's often on a soapbox. She added, "I'm putting myself out there on a daily basis. I'm giving my opinion, so it only makes sense that others might differ and will criticize me." No matter what the future holds for Guilfoyle, it sounds like she's more than ready for it.
The best is yet to come!
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.